In today's headlines, another ambitious goal by the Thai government, this time to reduce road fatalities to zero. The WHO says it wants to use Thailand as a role model for COVID management, and the Thai parliament launches an app to remind MPs to show up to work. All this is coming up in today's program.
Thailand News Today is brought to you by 5-Star Marine.
You're watching Thailand News Today, bringing you the latest top stories in Thailand and beyond. My name is Jet Gunther, and in our first story, Thailand's Prime Minister Prayut Chan-o-cha announced that the government aims to cut the number of road deaths by almost 2/3 by 2027. Thailand has the 9th highest road death rate in the world, with 32.7 deaths per 100,000 people, according to the WHO. Thailand's target for 2027 is to cut its number to 12 people per 100,000. It also announced a so-called Vision Zero goal, not to be confused with China's Zero COVID goal, that aims to completely eliminate traffic fatalities and severe injuries by 2050. The Vision Zero strategy first started in Sweden, but who knows if a developing country like Thailand will be able to achieve anything close to this goal. PM Prayut says the 2050 goal will be hard to achieve, but claims it is possible if everyone cooperates. Meanwhile, back on Planet Reality, one road death made headlines across Thailand back in January when a motorcycle hit and killed a doctor at a zebra crossing in Bangkok. After the incident, a health organization and a road safety organization teamed up to study how many cars, motorcycles, and public vehicles stop for pedestrians at 12 zebra crossings in Bangkok. They found that altogether, 89% of vehicles surveyed did not stop. For motorcycles, the rate was 92%, for cars it was 86%, and for public vehicles it was 80%. One point of optimism, though, is that Songkran road deaths reportedly went down by 20% this year from last year during the 7 deadly days between April the 11th to 17th. The Thai government is patting itself on the back yet again, as it says the WHO will use Thailand as a role model for COVID management. Spokeswoman Thraisari Traisaranagun revealed this after a meeting between Health Minister Anutin Charnvirakul, the WHO's Director General, and its Regional Director for Southeast Asia. According to a Nation Thailand report, the meeting took place at the 75th World Health Assembly in Geneva, Switzerland. Thraisari says the WHO will use Thailand's COVID management as a role model to create an international standard for disease management worldwide. According to Thraisari, the WHO also praised Thailand's vaccine rollout, with over 80% of people having now received their first dose and over 75% having received their second. The organization has also thanked Thailand for participating in various projects, including the WHO BioHub, a system for the research and development of vaccines to target emerging diseases. It's understood Anutin has invited the WHO Director General to a high-level meeting on health and the economy in Bangkok. According to the Nation Thailand report, Anutin has thanked the WHO for nominating Thailand as a pilot country for its Universal Health and Preparedness Review between April the 21st and 29th, and says the country is ready to share its UHPR experience with other countries.
Choose your trip to your favorite island with 5-Star Marine. Go to 5starmarinephuket.com.
Thailand's Disaster Prevention and Mitigation Department has admitted that 2 tsunami detection buoys are out of order, but insists they will be repaired very soon. According to the reports, both buoys have stopped submitting information to the National Data Buoy Center website, which is run by the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration in the U.S. According to a Nation Thailand report, a statement issued by the DPMD says one tsunami buoy had been deployed in the Indian Ocean around 965 kilometers west of Phuket. The other was positioned in the Andaman Sea, around 340 kilometers off the coast. According to its statement, the DPMD has been regularly monitoring the buoys and using overseas data to analyze the tsunami risk for Thailand. Officials say they remain confident in their ability to issue timely warnings of any impending tsunami threat. Thailand's wet season is still alive and well. From tomorrow, May the 27th, until May the 31st, which is a Tuesday, expect heavy to very heavy rains in the country's northeast, central east, and southern regions. Meanwhile, the current monsoon in Thailand's southwest is expected to get stronger. As has been the case in Thailand for the past month, expect strong winds and high waves in Thailand's Andaman Sea and Gulf. Waves in the Andaman Sea are expected to be between 2 and 3 meters high, and waves in the upper Gulf are expected to be 2 meters high. During thunderstorms, waves are expected to rise above 3 meters. A warning from the Thai Meteorological Department that won't be unfamiliar to the slightest to anyone who lives in the country, that is to be ready for accumulated rainfall that could cause flash floods. The department warns ships in the upper Gulf and the Andaman Sea to be careful and avoid areas experiencing thunderstorms. Earlier this week, a yacht capsized in stormy waters in Thailand's southern province of Krabi. A fishing boat rescued the yacht's 3 passengers who had gotten onto a small dinghy. The most affected areas are Jatujak, Laksi, Don Mueang, and Lat Prao. In some areas, the water level reached higher than 1 meter. The flood caused traffic jams, namely at Rashayotin intersection and Rashada Pisek Lat Prao intersection. To cope with meetings failing because of absence and lack of quorums, the Secretariat of the House of Representatives has developed a mobile app to notify MPs of upcoming meetings. The innovation presumes that MPs have failed to turn up because they simply forgot. Yesterday, Natakan Choshana announced that the Information Technology Office had developed an application named TH Parliament to improve parliamentary communication. Natakan explained that the application would notify MPs of upcoming meetings and allow members to request an official leave of absence. Natakan said the Parliament hopes this application will make the meetings go more smoothly and solve the problem of a lack of MPs turning up to participate. The Parliament would usually have meetings on Wednesdays and Thursdays, but to increase the effectiveness and productivity of parliamentary sittings, the Secretary announced that the Parliament would add more special meetings on Fridays twice a month. The schedule of the 2 special meetings would be sent to MPs via the new application. Now, if there are no special meetings, the Parliament would simply extend the meeting period on Wednesdays and Thursdays by about 1 to 2 hours, if needed. There are currently 474 MPs in Thailand's Parliament, and at least 237 members are required for a quorum. Thai media reported that the Parliament meetings had failed recently due to a lack of quorum 17 times within the last 3 years. Some members presented themselves at the start of meetings, then walked out later, while others showed that they were present by just leaving their MP cards with colleagues. The last time this happened was on February the 10th. There were only 227 MPs in the meeting. So the President of the National Assembly, Chun Pai, had to announce the cancellation of the meeting after MPs spent more than 30 minutes blaming absent members. MPs often cited problems with either having COVID or family members coping with COVID. That's the default excuse at the moment. Deputy Prime Minister and Commerce Minister Jurin Laksanawisit yesterday moved to ease fears of food shortages in Thailand on the back of recent protectionism measures introduced by neighboring countries, export bans, and the ongoing Russia-Ukraine conflict. Jurin declared Thailand has an abundance of food, produce, and there will be no shortages despite the recent embargoes. Speaking at the opening ceremony of the ThaiFex exhibition, the minister was bullish about the country's import-export future and said the nation can take advantage of the recent uncertainty and promote Thailand as a global hub of quality agricultural food and products. The Malaysian government this week revealed it is banning the export of all poultry from the country. Indonesia recently banned palm oil exports. India restricted wheat and sugar exports to prevent a surge in domestic prices, while Serbia and Kazakhstan both imposed quotas on grain shipments. Jurin says the Commerce Ministry has kept a close watch on domestic food stocks to ensure sufficient amounts and plans to promote exports of items that exceed Thai demand. Thailand is the 13th biggest exporter of food to the world, with a market share of 2.3%, the fourth biggest in Asia. Meanwhile, the chief executive of Jalern Pokapan Foods, known more commonly as CP, Prasit Bun Duong Prasert, also backed the Commerce Ministry's claims, despite admitting there were some worries of shortages of fertilizer and maize, the ongoing war in Ukraine, and new diseases in humans and animals. He revealed that with growing concerns about a food crisis, many food importing countries have returned to buy food products from Thailand. So Thailand should beef up its strategy to build up the Thai image of food safety as a leading food producer in Asia, he says. And that's all for today's episode of Thailand News Today. We'll be back tomorrow. Meanwhile, you're not up to date on the Thaiger.